All right. In light of recent events that have occurred in Virginia, i.e., uh, the shooting of several people, what are we going to learn? Ever since Trump's been elected, the other side has been going nuts, essentially. And I have to apologize in advance for the quality of this. I'm doing this on my phone. I don't really have a whole lot of money to work with. So, forgive me for this. Audio quality, video quality, probably going to suffer. But, anyways, regardless. The rhetoric being spun up by every venue. I mean, politically, he doesn't even have the support of Republicans, which he never really did. I mean, they didn't even think he was going to win the election, But Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump. Hillary Clinton, we already know what she's going to do. We saw it the first 2 years of Bill Clinton's presidency. Those of us old enough to remember, that is. And it was actually Hillary Clinton that lost Bill Clinton control of the House and the Senate for the first time in something like 40 years. And there are the associated scandals, real or not. And don't get me wrong, I served my first 4 years in the military under Bill Clinton and my last 4 under George Bush. And I saw what the whole mantra of doing more with less was causing the military. Yeah. But regardless, okay, we've already kind of sort of had a taste of what it was going to be like under a Hillary Clinton presidency. And on top of that, you throw in scandals like the Clinton Foundation and everything else. Obviously, not the best idea. Okay. And then you had Donald Trump. Reality TV star, big business tycoon. Yeah, he's gone bankrupt a couple of times. Well, 3, 4 times. But you know what? The guy's worth billions. He's more successful than he isn't. Yeah, he's had a couple of business ventures go south. But times change, and what may have worked 15 years ago isn't going to work now. But what it ultimately came down to, and yes, I am a Trump supporter, and yeah, I saw the crap he was spewing on the campaign trail. He was promising the sun, moon, and stars. Yeah, I didn't expect him to get very much done, to be honest. Seeing the seeing the huge amount of support he was getting from the GOP, I knew if he got elected, he would encounter headwinds left, right, center, wherever. But if you choose between the lesser of two evils long enough, that's all you got: evil. Now, in light of this, since Trump has got elected, we've had protests in Portland, Berkeley, you name it. And those protests have been violent. And the thing that's changed, which is what folks from Antifa and the left in general want, is we're striking back. It's got to the point now to where Antifa is training with firearms. And they're learning. And then you have movements like Black Lives Matters. Okay, and there have, I'm not saying the movement as a whole is violent, but they have definitely had members of that movement shoot people. And then this. Because I'm doing this on my phone, it kind of makes it hard, so I'm going off of memory. And I'm pretty sure you can look the statistics up on Google, okay? But something like 70% of gun ownership is on the side of the conservatives, or people conservative leaning, center to right. A lion's share of them are, like myself, veterans. And yeah, maybe we're not as strong, maybe we're not as lean, maybe we're not as mean. But when the time comes to pull a gun and pull the trigger, we're going to have a slightly better idea of what we're doing than the other side. But here's the thing, and this is what we really need to focus on. We're shooting at each other. If you want to put this into historical context, during the early 70s with the Black Panthers, yeah, they were walking around with guns, but they weren't shooting at the cops. And I could go into that a little more in depth, but we weren't shooting at each other then. Intentions were high. You just had the civil rights movement, what was it, second wave feminism, that was in full swing. The rise and fall of the hippie culture, and then there were a lot of changes going on, but we weren't shooting at each other. But there was one time we did. And if anybody knows our history, Harper's Ferry, where Harper and his family basically commandeered a National Guard armory by force with the intention of arming the slaves so they could revolt against their masters. Now, the whole history of the Civil War is kind of muddy. The history books say it was fought to end slavery, and there are a lot of other factors to it. Slavery was a component. It was not the main component. It was the main component that the North used to justify the war after a 2 or 3 year period around the time of Gettysburg. There were issues both north and south. It's not as simple as we fought the Civil War for slavery. Okay, slavery was a hotly contested issue at the Constitutional Convention. And if you look up your history, there was a Compromise of 1820, which stated that the South would stop importing slaves from Africa. That was one of the ways the northern states convinced the southern states to sign on into the Constitution. One of the ways. It's not just like a lot of stuff out there. It's not that simple of an issue. But we were shooting at each other then, and I don't think the amount of the level of violence that was going on in the years leading up to 1860, because there was a certain amount of violence, bloody Kansas, and such, and litigation such as Frederick Douglass, I think it was, in the Three-Fifths Rule. Okay? There were things that led up to that point. And there have been things that are leading up to the point now. And we are shooting at each other. And if that doesn't concern you, then I don't know, see yourself to a hospital. Make sure you have a pulse. And on top of that, I'm not saying all the, well, God bless, why am I doing that? There are certain members on the political left that are applauding what happened. The fact of the matter is a man that was politically motivated felt strong enough to pull a gun on people and shoot them over their political differences. What's wrong with that? If that had been based off of race, gender, whatever, you know, man goes to a nightclub, shoots 100 people. Saw the outcry over that. This? Oh, he should have shot more. It's not right. We're not right. We as a country aren't right. And where I fear this is may potentially lead, unless cooler heads prevail, calmer heads prevail, is we're going to start shooting at each other even more, and more, and more, and more, and then you got a full-blown war. And here's the thing to think about. We are the lone superpower. I mean, China kind of sort of is, but Russia, the thing about it is we are the world's military, basically. We're the largest military. We have the largest military might, so to speak. We've got bases over something like 120 countries. We are all over the world. There are a lot of regions that rely on us for stability, and I'm not saying whether, I'm not going to debate as to whether or not we should have gone in these countries in the first place. I'm just not. That's another topic for another time. But think about it. We destabilize. There is a huge power vacuum that's created. What happens to the rest of the world? Currently, the US dollar is the world's global reserve currency. It's also the only form of currency, well, for the most part, it's the only currency with the exception of Iran, which I think takes gold, silver, euros, whatever, that is used in the trade of oil. So, we destabilize, we create this huge power vacuum. What happens from it? Make no mistake, I don't have any children right now, I don't have a dog in that fight, but it is something to think about. Now, maybe all of us as a country need to take a step back and try to find common ground. Yeah, there are some things we are never going to agree on, so let's agree to disagree, but at the same time, let's find out where we do agree. The art of compromise has been lost, and this is what's happening. People are getting shot. People are dying. I apologize for my appearance. I just got off work. I work a very messy job. But, it's food for thought. Think about it.